Good morning, students. So, the previous class, we started the morphology of flowering plants. Apart from the botany part, the need morphology of flowering plants, the root modification. Now we are going to continue. So, root. What are the root system? What types of root systems are there? What is the functions of root? Are all we discussed in the previous class. And also the regions of root also discussed. Is it right? Yes. Now in this class we are going to discuss different kinds of root modifications. Apart from the main functions, in several plants, complete root or a part of root, complete root or a part of root becomes modified in its structure to perform various functions. Such modified roots which perform various functions are called root modifications. Root modifications, right? So in this root modification there are several types. That is one, storage roots or tuberous roots. Number two, nodular roots. And photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. Respiratory roots or pneumatophores. Epiphytic roots or velamen roots. Parasitic roots or hastoreal roots. Prop or pillar roots. Stilt or brace roots. Out of these prop roots or pillar roots and stilt roots or brace roots we completed in the last class itself. Now we are going to about this discuss about the storage or tuberous roots. In some plants like carrot, turnip, radish belongs to dicot plants. Their taproot modified to store food material and becomes bulge. Daucus carota, the scientific name of carrot. Spindle shaped Raphanus sativus radish. Then the Beta vulgaris beetroot. Stores the food material and becomes bulge and becomes tuberous. These roots which are belongs to dicot plants, the taproot stores food material here. Daucus carota, Raphanus sativus and Beta vulgaris. Beetroot. So in these plants, the taproot stores food material and stores the food and becomes bulge and tuberous. Whenever the plant need again this stored food from the taproots re-exported to the plants for their flowering phenomenon. So these are called root crops also. These plants are belongs to biennials. Means the life cycle of these plants are called 2 years. Annuals, biennials, perennials are the group of plants classified based on their lifespan. Annuals, the plants which grow around complete their life cycle within 1 year or one season. The plants which grow completes their life cycle within 2 years or two seasons. More than 2 years, that plants are said to be perennial plants. So these are biannual plants, means carrot, beetroot and radish etc. Their taproot stores the food material and the first year or first season. In the second year, they utilize the stored food for their reproductive growth. Hence, the farmers who cultivate these root crops can extract or harvest these crops at the end of the first year or first season. Okay? But some plants in asparagus, the bunch of roots, which is a cluster of roots, fibrous root in this plant, stores food material. Belongs to monocot plant. Asparagus, here each and every fibrous root also stores food material and becomes a cluster or bunch of fibrous roots are found. These roots are otherwise called as fasciculated tuberous roots. Fasciculated tuberous roots. In some plants like Ipomea batatas, sweet potato, the adventitious root stores food material. At every node, a single adventitious root was found. Adventitious root stores food material and become bulge. So adventitious root of sweet potato stores food material and becomes bulge. So Ipomea batatas, sweet potato, the food was stored in adventitious root, whereas in asparagus the food was stored in fibrous roots. But in carrot, beetroot and radish, taproot store the food material because those plants belongs to dicot, that is carrot, beetroot, radish, but the asparagus belongs to monocot having fibrous root. Ipomea batatas having adventitious root meat at every node. The adventitious roots are found, right? These are storage roads. Then secondly, about nodular roots. Secondly, about nodular roots. In the plants belongs to Fabaceae or Leguminosae members. The family named Leguminosae or Fabaceae, all the plants belongs to this family have taproots because they are dicot group. In their taproots, the small swellings or outgrowths are formed. In their main root or branches, these outgrowths, which are pimple-like outgrowths, swellings called nodules. In the nodules of these roots, the rhizobium bacteria are inhabited. From the soil, the rhizobium bacteria are enter into the nodule, and these bacteria rhizobium bacteria when enter into the nodule and forms symbiotic association between the rhizobium bacteria and the root of the host plant, that is a Fabaceae plant. Here in the symbiotic association, the rhizobium bacteria responsible to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. It was the absorptive form for the plants. The ammonia is the absorptive form for plants. Because of the rhizobium bacteria having dinitrogenase enzyme, the rhizobium bacteria are prokaryotic cells. They has the dinitrogenase enzyme, which is useful for the conversion of N2, which is in gaseous form, into NH3. This conversion of the nitrogen, dinitrogen into ammonia is called biological nitrogen fixation. Biological nitrogen fixation, which was carried out by the bacteria. This ammonia form, the plant can able to grasp the nitrogen. Unless from the dinitrogenous N2 or N triple bond N form, gaseous form, the plants cannot able to absorb the nitrogen. Nitrogen is one of the important element for the plant growth and survival. That's why they can absorb from this ammonia form or else nitrate and nitrite form. That fixed nitrogen was carried out by the rhizobium bacteria. Because it is a prokaryote, some prokaryotes only have the dinitrogenase enzyme, right? Instead of that, the root of the plant give food and shelter to bacteria. So you just understand what is importance here in the symbiotic manner. The rhizobium bacteria from the soil enter into root nodules and participate in fixation of nitrogen. So nitrogen fixed into absorptive form, that is nitrate or nitrite or ammonia, with the activity of dinitrogenase enzyme present in bacterial cells. Okay, so bacteria helps to plant by fixing nitrogen. Instead of that, the bacteria absorb food, shelter from the root xylem. The bacteria derive or absorb or receive food and take shelter within the root. So plant give shelter and food for bacteria. Bacteria supply fixed nitrogen to the plant. So here between the two organisms, that is root of the plant and bacteria, maintain symbiotic association, means mutually beneficial association, which is otherwise called as mutualism. Symbiosis, otherwise called as mutualism, means mutual beneficial association was established between the rhizobium bacteria and roots of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants. For example, groundnut, pea plants, beans, etc. are the example. Gram, red gram, green gram, black gram, beans, pea plants, groundnut are the examples of these nodular roots, right? Then third one, photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. Assimilation means preparation or synthesis. You know about photosynthesis, I think. What is photosynthesis, ma? The carbon dioxide reduced with water molecule in presence of light within the chloroplasts, that is chlorophyll pigments. The preparation of glucose C6H12O6 plus 6H2O6O2 is the photosynthesis process. Generally, the carbon dioxide reduced by water in presence of sunlight within the chlorophyll pigments to produce 1 mole of glucose and 6 oxygen molecules released, which is the prime responsible for the production of oxygen and for the synthesis of glucose, right? The glucose preparation by the green plants, because they have chlorophyll pigments which are absorb the sunlight and can fix the carbon dioxide as carbohydrates. Generally, aerial parts such as green leaves, young stems, unripened fruits, which are green in color, participate in photosynthesis. But in some plants like Tinophyllum, Tinospora and Trapa, Tinophyllum, Tinospora and Trapa, these three plants, only roots are present which are aerial. So in these plants, aerial roots are present, no leaf, no stem. These roots are epiphytes. These epiphytic roots have chlorophyll pigments in the chloroplasts and are green in color, which grow on other plants. These green tissues absorbs water from the atmosphere and prepare food through photosynthesis. So the green colored root, chlorophyllous roots which grow on other plant called epiphyte. The root only plant, there is no leaf, there is no stem, but the root gets aerial attachment with other plant, other branches, does not grow inside the soil. That's why the root has chlorophyllous pigments and can synthesize food material in the form of glucose. So root which is participate in photosynthesis are called photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. Example, Tinophyllum, Tinospora and Trapa. So the root which perform physiological function, that is preparation of food, are said to be photosynthetic or assimilatory roots. Then fourth one, nematophores or respiratory roots or breathing roots. Very, very, very important. Pneumatophores or respiratory root or breathing root, very important here with. In these, the plants which grow in marshy areas or salt areas like seashores, marshy areas, saline area, salt area. In these plants, the roots does not get sufficient oxygen. Does not get sufficient oxygen. Oxygen was less in the soil. That's why some of the roots grows obliquely upwards and absorb oxygen from the atmosphere. In these roots, the small openings are found aerially. These openings are called nematodes or small pores. The branch is called nematophore. Which can absorb oxygen from the atmosphere. These nematophores absorb oxygen from atmosphere. So the roots which are useful to absorb oxygen or respiratory gas are called respiratory roots or nematophores. Such type of roots are found in the plants which grow in saline areas or salty areas, that is on seashores. Here in the soil there is no sufficient oxygen, less amount of oxygen is there. So to get much more oxygen, some specialized roots grow obliquely upwards, and having small pores, they grasp oxygen. Hence these specialized roots are called nematophores. The pores are called nematodes. These are found in marshy or salt areas. These plants are otherwise called as halophytes. The plants which grow in salty area or salty soil are said to be halophytes. Example, Rhizophora avicennia. Examples, Rhizophora avicennia, nematophores, respiratory roots are found in halophytes. Halophytes means salty area. This question asked 2 times in NEET examination. How they asked the question? Let us see. The characteristic nematophores are found in dash. Answer: mesophytes, xerophytes, hydrophytes, halophytes. What is answer? Halophytes. What is about mesophyte? You know what is mesophyte? The plants which grow in normal land, normal soil, which has equal amount of water and air. What is about xerophytes? The plants which grow in sandy soil or waterlogged area. The plants which grow on waterlogged area, desert plants. Are called xerophytes. What are hydrophytes? What are hydrophytes? The plants which grow in water habitats. The plants which grow in water, complete in one side the water or surface of water or surrounding of water. These plants are said to be water plants or hydrophytes. Halophytes means the plants which grow in salty soils. Right? Are you understand? Next. Epiphytic roots are hygroscopic or velamen roots. The plants which grow on other plants are called epiphytes, already told now. In thick forests, huge branches, huge tall trees are there. In such thick forests, in spite of the growth and development of big plants, the small plants cannot able to receive sufficient sunlight while they grow on soil. So they take shelter on higher plants. The small plants take shelter on branches of higher plants. In these plants, the host branch the plants to fix make a separate root called clinging roots. These clinging roots are useful for fix the plant into the host branch. These are epiphytic plants. Leaf. These roots are called clinging roots. It is useful to fix the plant, fix the epiphyte to the branch, host branch, right? And a modified root was developed which are freely hanging and branched one. These roots are called velamen roots. They have a tissue called velamen tissue through which through these hanging roots it can absorb moisture from atmosphere, not from soil. This is a host plant. This is a small plant, leaf, velamen root and clinging roots useful for fixation, velamen roots for absorption of moisture from atmosphere, not from soil, right? Such plants which are grown on other plants are said to be epiphytes, which are absorb water from moisture from atmosphere, hence they are said to be hygroscopic roots. The roots have dry velamen tissue, epidermal tissue which is hygroscopic. Velamen tissue useful for absorption of water, so it is called velamen root. Such type of roots are found in the plants orchids. Example, vanda. belongs to Orchidaceae family. Orchid, commonly called as orchid plants. Orchidaceae family. Example, Vanda, small lilliput plants having leaf, two kinds of roots. One kind of root, clinging root, useful for fix the plant to the host branch. The other kind of root, velament roots, useful for absorption of moisture from the atmosphere. Right? This is hygroscopic or epiphytic or velament roots. Example, orchids. Example, Vanda belongs to Orchidaceae family. Then that one, last one, haustorial roots or parasitic roots. Haustorial roots or parasitic roots. Here, the roots of some plants helpful to penetrate into the host plant and gets food from the host plant. Some parasitic plants derive food as well as water from the host plant. They are said to be complete or total parasites partial or incomplete parasites. Means a complete or total parasite need food, water and minerals. Food transported through phloem of the host, water and minerals expectedly through the xylem moves. So total water, food as well as total need from the host plant or absorbed from the host plant by a parasite, that is called complete or total parasite. The partial parasite means they derive only water and minerals. So from the host plant, the plant which provide food or water minerals for the parasitic plant, the host provide food through phloem, water and minerals absorbed from xylem. Partial parasite prepare the food by its own because they are having leaves, parasitic roots, complete parasitic roots. They penetrate the haustorial roots up to xylem only and derive water and minerals from the host, and they can prepare food by their green parts. Such plants are said to be partial parasites. The parasite absorb food from root or stem of the host. Based on that, complete stem parasites, complete root parasites, incomplete stem parasites, incomplete root parasites are classified. One example given for complete stem parasite, Cuscuta, complete root parasite, Rafflesia, incomplete stem, Viscum, incomplete root, Striga. So you make sure that the complete or total parasite, stem parasite, Cuscuta, complete or total root parasite, Rafflesia, Partial stem parasite, Viscum. Partial root parasite, Striga. You just note the examples of our H1, complete stem parasite, Cuscuta, complete root parasite, Rafflesia. Partial or incomplete stem parasite, Viscum. Partial or incomplete parasite, root parasite, Striga. 4 examples, just to keep in our mind and write down and track this down. That is enough for our NEET examination based on NCERT examples. So this is about hostorial roots or parasitic roots. The roots which are able to absorb the water, food from the host plant, or steal or grasp or absorb the food or water and minerals from the host. Such specialized roots to derive food and water from the host plant are said to be hostorial roots or parasitic roots. Hostorial roots or parasitic roots. Next, already we discussed about these stilt roots or brace roots. It is one of the adventitious roots found in weak stemmed plants like sugar cane and maize. They have nodes and internodes. They have linear stems with nodes and internodes to give support or to give additional support to these weak stemmed plants. From the basal nodes, specialized roots are developed and gives additional support or protection to the plant. These roots are called stilt roots or brace roots. Example, maize and sugar cane. This is one of the adventitious root. We gave example, fibrous root having adventitious roots. Example, maize. And another one is a prop root or pillar root. In the banyan plants, apart from the main root, the aerial branches of the banyan plant which produce the pillar-like roots which are hanging from aerial branches and touch the soil and gives additional mechanical support. These roots are called pillar roots or prop roots. This is the tap root of these plants because it belongs to dicot. Tap root with adventitious root found in banyan. Fibrous roots with adventitious roots found in maize. So this is about sugarcane and maize examples for stilt roots. Banyan is example for prop root. The prop root as well as stilt root gives what ma? Additional mechanical support to the huge branch in this plant, weak stems of these plants. So here weak stems gets additional support from the stilt root or brace root. Here profuse huge branches, biomass having plant to stick on the tap root, that is not sufficient to give additional much more mechanical support from these pillar roots. So the aerial branches of these plants produces additional pillar roots to take much more mechanical support. So here these basal nodes produces additional roots, that is stilt roots, for the mechanical support from these plants such as maize and sugarcane. So these are about root modifications. Storage roots, Velament roots, or hygroscopic roots, nematophores, respiratory roots. Nematophores are respiratory roots. Photosynthetic roots are assimilatory roots. Parasitic roots are hastorial roots. Stilt roots are brace roots. Pillar roots are prop roots. In these plants, the complete root or a part of root gets modified to perform different functions. In storage roots participate in storage purpose, food storage purpose. In the prop roots and stilt roots, mechanical support given by the root, additional mechanical support. In the hastorial roots, the roots steal the food as well as water and minerals from the host plant. In respiratory roots, the modified root absorb oxygen from atmosphere. In the epiphytic root, the moisture absorbed by the Velament root. Whereas in the nodular roots, the rhizobium gets inhabited and fixed atmospheric nitrogen. So, different kinds of roots modify and to perform different functions. These are important root modifications which are prescribed in our syllabus. Thank you, students. We will meet you again in the next class with the stem and its modifications. Okay? Thank you.